Hello, my name is Lucas. This is Bitterflit. I'm here to talk about the A24 movie tag. I saw this on Old Blues Chapter and Verse, that channel, and it's actually original to Lucy Rutherford. But I really enjoy A24 films, ones that I've seen anyway. All of them have had their charms, though there are certain things that don't really annoy me, but I think, oh, why did you do that? It just, Anyway, number one, do you remember the first A24 film you saw, or A24 movie that you saw? I remember it's one of two. I don't remember which one I saw first. I think it was either The Lobster or Moonlight. Both are fantastic. Moonlight is certainly a more artistic kind of film, but The Lobster is all about concept and is just utterly bizarre. I'll talk about The Lobster because I may discuss Moonlight later in one of these other questions. In The Lobster, it's got Colin Farrell, which was the main reason I bought the film, the DVD or the Blu-ray, I can't remember which. Because it had Colin Farrell, it had a strange name, and the description of it was very interesting. Because it's this man who lives in a world where people must be in a relationship, and if they're not in one anymore, they get sent to this sort of compound, giant hotel-looking thing. It's such a weird movie. And they have a certain amount of days to find a mate there, and they are tempted by, just to keep them interested in the opposite sex. They are, for example, men have the young maid rub herself up against the man so that they will make sure that they are sexually attracted to the opposite sex still, which we see Colin Farrell really struck. Come on, can we actually just... Anyway, if they don't, they will be turned into an animal. And it seems Colin Farrell's got a dog, which is potentially his brother. And he chooses to be a lobster if he fails. Unfortunately, he falls into he sees that this strange system is bizarre. He escapes because he was trying to mate with a genuine lunatic and joins an aromantic, asexual community that is like militant and really utterly bizarre. And they do all these things to subvert societal norms and this kind of thing. It's a very interesting film. I think the director is called Yorgos Lanthimos, and he's a great director. But if you enjoy The Lobster and you want to see something that's even more cringy and painful to watch, Dogtooth. That one is really hard to watch, but it's very good. Even more poignant, but Anyway, back to A24. Which A24 movie do you relate to the most? Well, thankfully I've only watched a handful, so I can remember them. I think the one that I can relate to the most might be the Florida Project, maybe, because I can remember, I didn't grow up in a motel, but, I mean, that's such a great movie. Willem Dafoe is fantastic in it, so is every other actor in it, but I did grow up quite poor, and I did grow up in an apartment, but sort of the way that everybody sort of lounged around outside was very similar to the way they lounge around outside of the out of the motel. Yeah, I didn't grow up as poor as we see in this movie, in the Florida Project, and certainly not next to a huge a booming tourist location, because Disney World is there, just around the corner from where this motel is. But yeah, I mean, definitely when I was watching it and just seeing like people hanging around outside the motel, or going around to another motel or apartment complex to see who's there and if anybody can play, like, flashbacks to my childhood. Oh man, great movie. Which A24 movie made you cry the most? It could be the Florida Project, probably. But I'm gonna, just for the sake of picking a different movie, I'm gonna say Hereditary. Absolutely, utterly horrifying, completely terrifying. Gah. A family who is extremely well off. They've got a mother who makes miniatures and makes bank, and I believe her husband is a psychologist or psychiatrist, I think. Their son wants to go to a party, and he's sort of forced to bring the younger daughter. The mother has the grandmother, recently passed away, and she was a bit unusual, cold and distant, except very, very close. Wanted a son from her daughter for particular reasons. I won't spoil why, but settled with taking very close care of the daughter of the main character in the movie. And yeah, the daughter dies very early on into the movie. That's the sound. I made the sound because she loses her head. Like, it just pops off, but she makes that sound a lot in the movie. Very uncomfortable. And yeah, it's a lot about grief, and it's just hard to watch for that reason. But then it just gets more disturbing, and the performances, especially by the mother, who is a great actor. She's very good in The Sixth Sense and in Hereditary, and I can't think of what else I've seen her in. I can't think of her name, but I mean, she kills it. When she's screaming and fighting with her son at dinner, I felt that, man. I was at, ooh. But it does probably make me cry the most, because it's just dealing with grief and really terrible tragedies, and, you know, speak of the devil, number 4. Which movie did you find the most disturbing? Definitely Hereditary, but I will say Midsommar, to mix it up. Yeah, Midsommar, man, just, it's very weird to me to see a really well executed horror film set during the daytime, but it works extremely well. These dude bro anthropologists all decide to go to a pagan ritual, and some of them are using it as their research for their thesis. And one of them is in a relationship, a failing relationship that he doesn't care about, because I believe he thinks his girlfriend is too clingy, and his dude bro friends are like, "God, just dump the bitch," because they don't really like her. Unfortunately, she deals with a tremendous amount of trauma early on, because I believe her sister commits double homicide suicide, so her entire family is dead, and this, yeah, just haunts her through the rest of the film. And yeah, then we see what this pagan ritual is all about, and they've got some very strange ones, especially what they do with the elderly, but it is very interesting, the point that is made. You know, we sort of see this as unusual in our culture, for our culture, but they probably see The way we put our elderly in nursing homes as barbaric in its own right. Very interesting movie, deeply disturbing. Maybe not as disturbing on a visceral level as Hereditary, but yeah, there's a lot of there's just horrifying things. Drugging, RAPE, bizarre occultism, and just, ugh. And just a really terrible boyfriend, man. Just really terrible. Does he deserve his fate? No, I don't think so. And I feel bad for the girl who gets accepted in. But what movie is not an A24 movie, but seems like it should be? Dogtooth, I believe, is not an A24 movie. I've only seen that once. I've seen The Lobster a couple times. So it's about this family. They've got a son and mother. A son and daughter, and they really infantilize their son and basically treat him better. And well, they infantilize both of them, but particularly the son. And as they're getting older, they're paying a woman to relieve their son's stress, we'll say. And when their options run out, they decide to take drastic measures. I won't say what, but it's so uncomfortable, but I think very poignant in the things it's trying to get at. Number 6, an A24 movie you disliked. I'm fortunate enough I haven't seen too many of them, but I've enjoyed every one. To varying degrees, but I have enjoyed every single one that I've watched. Number 7, have you ever not finished DNFed, an A24 movie? No, I've seen all of them all the way through, but I think, one time I started the Lighthouse, but I just had to stop because I had something come up, and then I watched it later, and I loved it. Which has Willem Dafoe in it as well, who is fantastic, and Robert Pattinson. Two lighthouse workers, I forgot the name, who are stuck together and are just totally mismatched and uncomfortable around each other. That one's also disturbing, actually. Very good black and white film. Really, really funny in just strange ways. When Willem Dafoe's character curses Robert Pattinson, and he's just like, all right, I'll eat, because Robert Pattinson said the food isn't any good, and then he curses him for like 2 minutes straight or something, maybe a minute and a half or something like that. All right, I'll eat the food. Very good movie. Number 8, an underrated A24 movie you want to give a shout out to? Well, I would like to, I don't know how underrated it is, but Swiss Army Man is a very good film. Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. He finds a pocket knife of a Swiss Army knife of a human being, Paul Dano's character, who's a lonely loser, obsessed with some girl that he doesn't even know. That one is also disturbing, actually. But Daniel Radcliffe's character and relationship with Paul Dano's character is really humanizing, very sweet in that sense, and lots of very interesting unique twists and turns in the story. I really enjoyed that. I would recommend that one. Number 9, which A24 movie have you not seen yet that you're most looking forward to? For me, that would have to be the one I'm most looking forward to would be Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know if it came to China, but I'm in lockdown, so even if it did, I can't watch it. But I've heard great things. I really enjoy Michelle Yeoh, so I would really like to watch that movie. And number 10, your favorite A24 movie. Let's see. Well, I've talked about all of the movies, except I didn't really talk about Moonlight. I do enjoy Moonlight, but my favorite one is Uncut Gems. Very tense and uncomfortable. The entire time, I feel deeply uncomfortable and disturbed. And Adam Sandler is fantastic. Every time I've seen him do a dramatic role, he kills it. He knows just what to do. He knows how to, turn the notch in Punch Drunk Love, or what's that movie where his family died in 9/11? It has Don Cheadle in it, I think. That one is also really great. But Uncut Gems, this dude is such a degenerate. Such a degenerate gambler, and it just gets worse. And every time you think he's gonna make the right decision, he makes things worse. It's just constant cringe, and finally when everything sort of resolves and he gets his big payday, it's all for nothing. But he's happy. He's won big. Adam Sandler is fantastic in that movie, and I believe it's Kevin Garnett that's in that movie too, right? Am I wrong? Maybe it's a different basketball star. But everybody in that movie is amazing. But the Safdie brothers, right? I don't understand. How did they make something so tense and uncomfortable and cringy to watch? It is agonizing, because somehow, despite him being a complete degenerate, you root for this monster who's ruining his relationship with his family and everything. Just I don't know how they pulled those tricks on me, but they did. And Uncut Gems, my favorite A24 film. I now have a disturbing feeling that I have mentioned, other than Dogtooth, a movie that's not an A24 film, but I don't know. I went on Wikipedia, saw a list of A24 films, saw all those, and I have watched those. So anyway, I would love to watch more. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.